Do you know how to get a job in Southeast Asia as an English teacher? Most teachers think when they come out here, they just need a CV and a TEFL and everything is good. But that's not really the reality of it. Did you know you actually have to teach a live class to even get considered to teach English out here in Southeast Asia? And this is just the consideration part to even be considered for the job that you're applying for. So today's video, I'm going to help you on how to get ready for this demo lesson. I'm also going to give you all the information that you need so you'll be able to negotiate your salaries better, negotiate a better position, because being a teacher is just the beginning. There are higher positions and different teaching programs which can pay you more, such as science and STEM, that an English teacher can qualify for if they're good enough. I'm going to tell you what is required to get ready and how to do all of this with literally almost no effort at all. And this will take you from being unemployed to employed within a few hours. So after this video, you should know how to get a demo lesson, how to negotiate your pay, how to find the best way to get these jobs. And at the end of the day, just be a lot better than a lot of these teachers, because there are hundreds of teachers applying for the same jobs here in Southeast Asia, Thailand, Vietnam, Cambodia, Laos, Malaysia, and they are only taking the best of the best. So today you're going to learn how to be in that top 1%. So before you get started, you have to know what you're actually teaching. Now at this part, typically a school will give you a lesson plan. It'll usually just be some kind of like a PowerPoint that you put on the screen and you just teach it to them. This is typically one of their live lesson plans that they usually use for their Western teachers. So it is very important to sell yourself on this lesson plan. Now, if you weren't given a lesson plan, this means you're going to have to make your own. This lesson plan that you write, it's about food, animals, colors, the things that schools are typically teaching within the first few years. Now, this is going to sound weird, and a lot of people get confused when I say this, but when you're writing your own lesson plan, it needs to be something they already understand. If it's the students or if you're teaching staff and they're just kind of like interviewing you. Because what these schools are looking for is if you fit into their community and their school. They don't technically want to learn anything. They just want to know if you're the best fit. And with this being said, when you are teaching these, you need to make sure the grammar and the vocabulary, two things that you have to do in this demo lesson, are things that they already know. Don't try to teach them anything. Remember, this is an interview. I have to keep repeating this because so many demo lessons I've graded and seen are teachers trying to actually educate us. They don't care. You're not there to actually educate. You're there to prove yourself in an interview process. When people come in and they're doing their demo lessons on things that are not normal to Vietnamese schools, a lot of the Vietnamese will look at me and be like, what are they talking about? What are they teaching? What is this grammar, like this grammar pointer? What are these vocabularies they're teaching? If they don't understand, you are now educating or confusing. You're not being interviewed. Whatever you're teaching has to be something they do. If you don't know what to write about, check the link below. I've written out 2 separate books that go over 10 pre-made, ready-to-use lesson plans that cover the 20 most used lesson plans. Use one of these, walk in there, teach it, they're going to know it, they're going to play along, boom, they're going to love you. You're there to impress, not educate. And this is another thing that you should be aware of. What is the age of the students? Now, if they tell you that you're going to come in and teach staff as a demo lesson, ask them what is the average age that they're going to act. Typically, when you go to a school, a bigger school like ILA or EMG, and you go for an interview, the staff is going to be the class. It's usually going to be 3 to 5 teachers or admin people, and they're going to act a part. So make sure you understand if they're going to be primary students or high school students or adults, whatever it is. But remember, they already need to know it. So it's important to know their age, and what you're actually teaching is stuff that they already know. Because again, this is an interview. This is not a live class. They are evaluating you. And the reason for that is if they have to sit there and learn, they are not going to really focus on you. I've seen many demo teachers come in from different countries around the world, and they start teaching something new, and 2 things typically happen. 1, the Vietnamese or the Thai staff will look at me and be like, David, what is this guy talking about? Or 2, the staff put down their stuff and they're focusing and trying to actually learn from you. These are 2 things that are very bad for an interview. You want them to evaluate you. You don't want them to learn from you. You can teach them your grammar and your vocabulary after you get hired. But right now, your mission is to land that job. So make sure whatever you're teaching is something they're familiar with. Nothing new, no surprises, no left field stuff. Now, I keep mentioning grammar, and I know a lot of people might start commenting or even thinking to themselves, wait, when I lived in Vietnam or Thailand or Cambodia, Typically, the local people, the Thai teacher, the Vietnamese teacher, the Cambodian teacher, typically are the one teaching grammar. Things have changed, and they've changed fast for non-native and native teachers. You are going to start being required to teach grammar. It's becoming part of it. The grammar's simple. Don't freak out. I know as native speakers, we don't really know English grammar because we learned it naturally. We don't sit there and read books on grammar for 10 years. So it's totally fine if you don't understand it. Don't worry about it. You're going to know what the grammar lessons are beforehand. Make sure in your demo, when you're teaching these grammar points, whatever they are, make them simple. Like, I like this because, or the verb, how to use a verb, how to use a noun, how to identify the subject, whatever it is. Make sure it's ultra basic. Because again, you're not teaching them. You're just being evaluated. So make sure they already understand everything so they can focus on you as a teacher. If they give you a lesson plan, do not criticize it. Please, for the love of God, do not criticize their lesson plans. Do not make excuses for you doing bad. Or if they give you feedback, don't say it's because the lesson plan sucked or this or that. Don't do this. Remember, these lesson plans that they're giving you are typically ones they truly use in live classes. A lot of schools write lesson plans for the natives and the local teachers because they're not going to write a lesson plan just for your interview. You're not that special. But when they give it to you, if you sit there and say, well, it was really long, the grammar sucked, the vocabulary was stupid, we don't talk like this in America or Canada, you're gonna make them upset. They're gonna be angry with you. And your whole interview is gonna be in a very weird position because you've struck emotions that you did not want to strike with them. And if you did write your own lesson plan, perfectly fine. When it comes to the feedback after this whole demo lesson, just listen. Say thank you. Acknowledge the feedback. Don't criticize it. Don't question it. Don't have debates. Just accept it. People like when you can accept feedback and just be like, oh, thank you. You've saved me. That's such great, amazing advice. Blah, blah, blah. They love it. Stuff like that. It'll get you a long way. And finally, even if they say don't bring anything, bring your own computer with a VGA connection or an HDMI. HDMI is kind of the normal one, but bring it just in case. I've seen a lot of interviews where us as a school had problems with our equipment. And we're like, hey, did you bring your computer by chance? And the teacher will load theirs up and we'll do the demo lesson. And it actually gets you points. If you can't do a demo lesson and they have to delay it, reschedule you, or they're like, you know what, just do it without the lesson. Here's some printouts of it. Now you really have to maneuver this demo lesson in a very awkward way where it could be held against you. And they don't mean it intentionally, them as the staff of this school. But your demo lesson might look unprofessional. You might look confused. You might not know what to do. And it's not your fault. It's their fault for having bad equipment. But bring your own computer just in case and have an HDMI, a VGA possibly, but HDMI is 95% of the connection port that you need. Put it in a backpack and come in. Simple as that. If you don't use it, who cares? But if you do, it might have just saved you your job. So regardless if your demo lesson is in front of a bunch of Vietnamese and native teacher staff, or if it's in front of primary, secondary, or high school students, you still have to follow these basic rules. And these will allow your demo lesson to pretty much run like a real class. If you've already taught classes before, this stuff is going to be a bit of a review for you. But these are things that schools look for. So number one, set your rules right away. This is something very important. I would only do 2 or 3 rules. Just have rules like, please raise your hand when you have a question. Stay in your seat. Don't speak your native language, English only, stuff like this. Whatever rules you want to do, it doesn't truly matter. Just set rules. Teachers love to know that you set a standard in your classes before. So when you walk in there, first thing, set the rules, make sure everyone understands, and carry on with the lesson. The next thing you have to do, make sure you call on everybody. Even if there's a native teacher and they're evaluating you, call on them to answer the questions. Involve everybody into a lesson plan. I've seen people staff walk into a demo lesson to do something completely different. They came in to ask one of the staff to sign something. And the demo teacher will actually call that staff to say something and ask, why are you late? Please sit down. And I laughed when I saw this actually. And the Vietnamese teachers were like, what the hell is going on? And at the end of it, that staff sat down and participated. This person got the job before they walked out of the room because they loved how that teacher took command of that random event and turned it into part of the class and involved everybody. If it flows, do it. And then when you do ask questions, make sure you congratulate them on even the dumbest things. What's your name? My name is Win. Good job, Win. My name is Win. Do stuff like that. We're giving out participation trophies today, guys. And you have to give them out to everybody, even for the stupidest things. And the last one, when you're teaching these demo lessons, If anyone speaks incorrectly, uses the wrong sound, if it's a or and, they use the wrong one, if they sound incorrect when they speak, they use the wrong grammar, correct them immediately. Correct everybody. They love to see that a Westerner takes charge and makes sure that the student's getting the correct. They're hiring you as a native or non-native English speaker, right? So they want to make sure you can actually teach them native level English. If you're allowing them to make a bunch of grammatical and verbal errors, they're going to criticize you about it at the end of it. And you don't have a lot to say in your defense. You're just going to be like, well, you were staff, so I thought I was just going with it. Answers like that will actually get you removed. I'm going to share with you some of the biggest mistakes I see native and non-native. Let's go over a few things that you should never do in a demo lesson. If you are given a demo lesson from this school, even if it's garbage, I've seen some trash ones. Trust me, I'm not going to name the schools, but I've seen some trash demo lessons. Just go with the flow, make the best of it. Do not edit it. Do not change the vocabulary. Do not change the grammar. Just teach whatever the hell it is and go with that flow. At the end of the lesson, if they criticize you because they think something was wrong, and the reason you were wrong is because the grammar in there was wrong or the vocabulary in the PowerPoint was wrong, accept it. Again, you're there for an interview. You're not there to criticize the school or help the school improve. They're not paying you. So why are you giving them this feedback? Who cares? The next one is don't break character. Never start teaching and then make a mistake like, oh, I'm sorry, can we start over? Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Don't break character. Soon as that demo lesson starts, the staff or the students are like, all right, let's start the lesson. You are a full-blown work for them TEFL ESL teacher until they cut everything. Say, all right, I think we're good here. Thank you for the demo. Check out one of my activity books. Do an activity if you screw up. Whatever it is, do not break character. I've seen so many teachers, and it's usually native teachers that do this. They break character because they make a mistake, and they feel like it wasn't good enough for the interview. You admitting to it and making a deal out of it, like a big deal out of it, even a small deal, is more damaging to you than the actual mistake. When it comes to your demo lesson, if they give you a PowerPoint, don't skip any of it. Go through it. Go through it slow too. Don't try to speed race through your thing. If they give you a PowerPoint that's 30 slides, don't expect to get 30 done. I doubt you will. Honestly, I think you'll probably get through like 5 to 7 of them, and then they're going to be like, all right, cool, I think we got enough here. And I've noticed actually with a couple of the bigger schools, the government-owned schools that you see in Saigon, they will actually stop you and be like, all right, can you get to the grammar part? Okay, can you get to the vocabulary? Oh, can you get to the listening part? Oh, can you get to the bookwork now? They'll actually have you skip through. That's perfect. That's actually really cool because that allows you to take unofficial breaks, and also it kind of guides you through what they're trying to figure out. Don't try to skip anything. Don't try to speed through 30 slides thinking, I have to finish this entire lesson before they cut me. No. The objective is not to finish this lesson. The objective is to impress them. If you get stuck, don't know what to do, if you feel like the students are acting like they know too much or they don't know enough, if you just didn't read the PowerPoint before you went to this school to do this demo lesson because maybe they gave it to you at the last minute or you just don't care, run activities that involve all the students, get them speaking and listening, whatever it is. This actually reminds me of a Canadian teacher that came in. She came in, she taught the first 2 slides, which is vocabulary, and for the next 10 minutes, all she did was activities. She actually ignored the PowerPoint, just did activities. They loved that she was entertaining, fun, and she involved all the students. So don't always think everything has to be like this orthodox A to B thing. Do what you got to do. But if you do feel stuck, run an activity. It's that simple. Don't be fast. If you go too fast, get the lesson done too fast, you're running through stuff too fast, you're going to look bad. They're going to criticize you that hey, we couldn't really understand. If a Vietnamese teacher, staff, actually says they can't understand you because you're talking too fast, that's very bad for a demo. Because we speak English and we can't understand this guy. How are the students going to feel? They actually talk about this stuff. If you are teaching a live class, typically in Vietnam and Thailand, they'll pay you 50% of the salary and they will expect you to teach. Understand, if you're teaching a live class, this means a teacher is sick or they don't have a native teacher for this class. So you are actually substituting this class and the parents know that they have a native teacher in there. So negotiate a pay on that. Do not teach live classes for free. If it's staff, just shut up and do it. It's part of the interview, man. Simple as that. All right, so we know the do's, the don'ts, what to expect, lesson plans, vocabulary, grammar. We know everything. So let me walk you through real fast. This will be a quick one on what to do, A to B, when you walk in this classroom and how to orchestrate this and make sure you get that job. So when you first start, make sure you have your lesson or you know what to teach. Have your lesson plan written if you need to, and make sure you know the age that's going to be acted out. So if it's staff that's going to interview, ask them what the level of the grade is. They're typically going to say primary, but make sure you know the grade. If it's a live class, how many students? How old are they? This stuff is important because when you get in there and you write a lesson plan ideally for like 10 students, and you got 35 in there, it could get ugly fast. The first thing you have to do, introduce your rules. Whatever the rules are, make sure you have them. Just 2 or 3, maybe 4. And a lot of them that I do is like raise your hand when you talk, no yelling, only speak English is quite common. Create your rule base right away. The next one is a review. Ask the school if there was a prior lesson they did, if this is a live class, so you can use this time as a review. If there isn't, make it introductions part. So this could be like, what is your name? Where are you from? You could do like 2 truths and a lie. You can have some kind of introduction game where you throw a ball around the room and everyone says, hello, my name is blah, I'm from blah. Remember though, keep it simple. After you get through the review or the introduction, start teaching a lesson. Whatever the PowerPoint they gave you or whatever you created. Now my advice in this, obviously teach grammar, teach vocabulary, teach speaking, call in every student, congratulate them as they do whatever they are, but also keep your talking down. I like this rule called 80-20, where the student speaks 80% of the time, you speak 20% of the time. They don't want to hear a teacher lecturing. This is not Harvard Law School. This is English as a second language in a foreign country. And I mention this because I see so many teachers just talk. Like just talk, and they never ask the staff and the teachers any questions, participation stuff, anything like that. So you're not only not showing them you know how to interact with the class, but you're also giving them something they can't check off the box, because they actually have a list that they check off, and one of them is participation in critiquing the students' responses. If you don't do stuff like that, they can't grade you. So you're putting them in a very difficult spot where they're just gonna be like, oh, I don't know, we're not gonna hire this person. So make sure they are speaking most of the time. But the overall goal is to make this lesson plan proactive. If you don't know what to do, run out an activity. If you're going too fast, mentally slow down. But whatever you do, keep things going. Keep this fun and entertaining. Make sure you're doing grammar, you're doing vocabulary. It's seriously that simple. Demo classes are one of the hardest things to do in Vietnam and Thailand for teachers, be it new or a veteran. But it's also one of the easiest things to do. So that's pretty much it. There's your 10 or 15 minute demo lesson breakdown on how to guarantee that you'll pretty much get the job, be able to negotiate your pay, negotiate your days off, and really put yourself out there above these other teachers. We are in 2023, coming into 2024. There's schools out here that are getting 300 to 500 applicants that are doing demo lessons, that are doing the whole video things, and it's becoming competitive. And if you've seen the recent video, we talked about Thailand's even cracking down now. So Vietnam, China, Cambodia, Thailand are all cracking down, which is making it harder. We are the one battling for jobs. It's no longer the schools desperate to find a teacher. So you want to be the best of the best. Check out the books if you have any questions on how to do activities, write lesson plans, or you just want lesson plans so you don't have to write them. And of course, I didn't really talk about this much, and I shouldn't have to, but I do at the same time. Have personality, be fun. The teachers I've seen that had the best opportunity of getting hired, where their lesson usually wasn't the best, was a personality. They show up 15 minutes early, which you should, and they talk to people. They talk to the staff. They talk about how they love Vietnam and how they love the culture, whatever it is, but literally just butter them up. And this will really leave it a good view on their point. And also, when you start teaching a lesson, they're going to be way more lenient on you because now you're their friend. You're not this stranger trying to get a job. You see what I'm saying? In Asia, it's about who you know, not what you know. Even if there's a native teacher, they just talk to them. And that actually helps the teacher get the job. So make sure you talk, you have a good personality, you're fun. They want a fun, happy, positive, optimistic person. They don't want some strained, strict, angry old teacher that just hates the world. Don't be that guy or girl, because you will not get the job and people will talk about you. Get things going. The new semester is about to start here in a couple months. After 10, it's going to get crazy out here. That's right after February. I think February 16th. It's going to get crazy. So be above the rest. Get your TEFL this week. You can do it online, even if you're in America or Canada. Get it done. I got discount codes for you right now. And get your activities, write your lessons, master the game before you walk here. But that does it for today, guys. I'm going to get out of here. Any questions? Leave them below. And subscribe if you're not part of the team, man. Till then, guys, I will see you again.